My girlfriend told me I was terrible with directions, so I packed up my things and right. Welcome back, YouTube. Make sure you guys comment if you want to keep seeing more of these videos. So far, I've been doing pretty good. Legit sticking to at least one video a day, sometimes two. Spoiling you guys rotten. But if you like this video, make sure you hit that like button so we can keep seeing more good, cool content like this. But man, we are seeing this guy pop up all over the place. And hold the phone. What are you doing, Kelazhur? What are you doing, Elazer? There's nothing going on in this game and it's popping off already. All right. This guy is such a good Zerg player. He's a great measure of skill, an excellent practice partner for anybody. He's a great way to measure up players who are going to be competing in our upcoming tournament. Spawning in the lower right side of the map, we have the red Zerg. It is Elazer. And his opponent to the top left, going to be the blue Terran player. Pretend that this dude is actually a cute little anime panda girl. It's Kelazhur. Now, Kelazhur has been invited to our upcoming $1,000 Rifkin's Back, baby, tournament. Well, okay, it's called the Rifkin's Back tournament. But the point is, I can get through one video at a time here pretty easily on YouTube. It's been a little bit more difficult doing more than that. So this is all kind of practice for me, but also a great way to show off players to you, dear viewer, who, whether you'll be watching the VODs on YouTube later or hopefully, fingers crossed, tuning in live on Twitch, April 7th, 8th, 9th, 15th, and 16th. Those are the 5 dates for our upcoming tournament. Also, a quick little awesome update. If you guys haven't been paying attention to the prize pool, which I've never linked in one of these videos, so I will link it down below this time. There's several free ways you can help us build up the prize pool. Sure, I could advertise those. I won't. You can figure it out. But there's 2 cool things. Number 1, freaking some guy out there named Lovely Loves. If you watch this video, you are the man. We haven't even gone live with day 1 of the tournament, and he donated $500 to the prize pool. So up to $1,500 at the time of recording this video. Secondly, number 1 was just so dang cool. But the point is, oh, right, there's free ways to assist and all that jazz, but we've actually been able to bring back, thanks to a little bit of Blizzard and Matrino love, those portrait packs you guys have seen us in the past give out / sell. We've brought them back for 50% of their regular cost. It's Maynard, Wardy, Zombie Urban Rifkin. You'll get 4 portraits, all adjutantized, as we are all great purveyors of Terran. Anyways, you'll be able to get that portrait pack for $5, 4 of which will go to the prize pool, and you can use in any region, anywhere you want. Wait, why does this show up here, but not over here? Okay, whatever. Okay, replays, you do you. Anyways, that's the promotion part of this done. Just make sure you guys are stoked for the tournament, because this game is going to be a good measure of it. Kelazhur competing in our event. Players just as good or better than Elazer will also be competing. But I hope I see Elazer show up in our qualifiers. I'd love to see him after pitting him against all these players in these VODs for YouTube. I'd love to see him come make a splash in the actual tournament. At any rate, if you guys are unaware, just to wrap up here as we get into real builds and talk about the game, Kelazhur is in Europe. He has been for some time. This is new information to many people, despite this not being news. He's in the Netherlands, I believe it is, doing some school, finding some love, all that good stuff. So he's been competing in European tournaments for quite some time. An interesting incidental trait, of course, is TLO has been to America, recently married, by the way. Congratulations to him. And we lost Kelazhur in the process. So it balances out in the world of StarCraft, I suppose. But Kelazhur has been doing some really interesting stuff. The last few times I've gotten the pleasure of casting him, he's been doing some unique things too that have really impressed me. Part in time of this is his build and the way he chooses to make a wall off, which is unconventional to many. His decision to play mech versus bio, which I guess you say about every Terran, but really Kelazhur's is quite interesting to watch. And this game is going to be no different. He's opted to go for hyperflight rotors. Now, Elazer is a player who in the past has been conventionally very good at scouting. By the way, nice way to deal with these hellions. He's conventionally been very good at scouting, but the last few times I've seen him, there's not been that single overlord with speed across the map confirming what's going on. So he may be blindsided a little bit. I'm not sure if this is greed or just how he's playing nowadays, but either way, he's not going to see the Banshees coming. And what's most important is, well, you might see the tech lab spinning and think, well, it's just Banshee Cloak. How typical is that? What's going to be really important to identify is the speed attached to these. This is, as much as I would love to give credit to Kelazhur, something I've seen innovation do many, many times. It typically leads to mech as the follow-up, and it can be really effective. For those who don't know the dynamic of what I'm kind of inferring here, Banshee's speed, while in no way helps them attack faster, it helps them escape a lot easier. And later on in the game, if he's going to continue to invest in the Banshees, because let's be honest, if you go for this upgrade, you're usually going for more than just one Banshee. It helps them escape Overseers. They can't outrun Mutalisks, they have a hard time outrunning Corruptors, but they can outrun an Overseer with speed, no problem. And if you can't see your opponent while they're cloaked, can't catch them. And by the way, I talked about mech, we do have double factories coming down for Kelazhur, but Elazer, now having seen the Banshee, still unaware that there's no cloak or speed, doesn't know what's attached to this, if there's going to be more or not, because again, he doesn't have that scouting of his opponent, has still played this pretty close to the vest on his own. He's pushing out that layer attack just now, finishing as we speak. Baneling speed starts up right away. Also, a very interesting wall off here. If this was against, I think he knows he's playing against mech. Because if this was a wall off you did versus bio, you would just lose this Baneling nest 10 times out of 10. So maybe it's just the amount of Hellions, maybe it's the faster Banshee, but Elazer has kind of blindly guessed mech for this game. This is a little suspicious, but maybe based off of some previous interactions. Either way, this is good. Now, Baneling speed gets canceled, I think, upon realizing what's going on here. Roach Warren starts up immediately. Elazer's quite good with roaches, and he should, at this point, be able to easily identify speed on these Banshees. So again, they get in, they're going to take the same damage they normally would, except they're going to get out and won't be caught for the finishing blow. This is going to be exceptional when it comes to cleaning up creep, just having the additional attacks from above, because if your opponent is going for roaches and lings and banelings as a means to deal with mech, which, by the way, as you guys may have noticed from Elazer versus Euthermal, that's how he plays it. There were some interesting questions actually on Reddit from this, one of which I tried to answer, but I guess I've never thought about to explain in a cast because it just seems like background obvious. But someone was asking, why does he go roaches against things like Cyclones, and in this case, why does he go roaches against Banshees and what is soon to be Cyclones, instead of Hydras, Inlings, and Banes? And the idea is that no matter what form of mech you're playing, Turtle style, Cyclones, Hellions, Banshees, you're going to take losses on the way to getting to Hive Tech, because Hive Tech is the way ultimately to deal with this. And unfortunately, a lot of the other things people love to see with Hydras and Lings and Banelings are very gas intensive, very expensive just in general. Roaches are a little bit more cost effective in comparison, and it's one of those things where if you can lose the same amount of roaches as you could Hydras and Lings to buy the same amount of time, why not go with the more cost-efficient option, which for Elazer, thanks to a lot of his control, and thanks to the way he plays the game, tends to work out well with the roaches. Hive Tech is, by the way, about 70% of the way done, so he is on his way to having something to deal with this. And overall, a really low loss game for both players, actually. 3 Hellions, 6 drones, nothing truly tremendous. Now, things are going to pick up here as we see Kelazhur move towards his upgrades. He's going to have Blue Flame coming out here very quickly and a freaking lot of Hellions. 15 to be precise. Whether those are Hellbats or they stay in Hellion form, either way, they should be able to support these Cyclones very well. The Banshees are still quite quandary, as Kelazhur's never invested in Cloak for these. These are just purely speed Banshees. Which, again, maneuverability is paying off very well here. As you can see, I think without speed, 2 of the 4 Banshees die to kill that Queen. In this case, none go down. There's a fight in the middle of the map, but it's just a lock-on or two, really a disengage from both. Elazer's pumped out those Infestors. We've seen him use this before, fungal growth to catch the army, and if this Terran army gets caught, even for those 3 seconds, you can lose a lot of it. One of the Banshees gets caught over here on the right side. Spire's almost done. I'm sure it'll be Greater Spire. Could be in that awkward situation, though, where you just have a very slow army, and it would be very difficult to catch this Terran one. Kind of like we see here. Nice fungal, but it's only going to get him a Hellion or 2, if that. Banshees, though, come around the middle of the map, so they've circled around. They could still fall prey to fungals, but if 3 Banshees die to kill 2 high-energy Infestors, I would label that as worth it. Now, a nice transfuse out of Elazer keeps that from happening. Meanwhile, for Kelazhur, he sets up a 4th base, and this is really important because he's laying down 3 additional factories. Production for mech at this stage of the game is incredibly expensive, and typically slow because you don't go for this many factories. But with a 4th base with gases, he can certainly sustain this. All he's got to do is defend it, which, easier said than done. There's a lot less Cyclones and a lot more Hellions, so it's harder to deal with the roaches. But the beauty is, whoa, losing a Cyclone is a lot easier than on your income in your bank than it is on losing a Cyclone. Scanning to clean up a lot of this creep. Elazer does have a lot of it set up on the front line. Big fungal though on the Hellbats. Luckily in transformation mode, they've got the health to take the hits, take the licks. They dodge the corrosive bile, which was excellent. Another fungal lands on the bottom side. Corrosive bile's grabbing a kill or two, but so far not looking so great for Elazer. A lot of these infestors coming back in for round 2. He's trying so hard not to overuse them, and I think fungal growth has successfully whittled down the health of these Cyclones. It's only going to take 4 full duration fungals to kill a Cyclone, and that sounds obnoxious, but with how long and sustained that battle was, it really helped out a lot. Neural Parasite will not be so effective against this army, but Neural Parasite will be really effective against the next army. There's usually a tech swap one way or the other here. Some go towards air, you go for Liberators, and apparently in some cases Battle Cruisers, but most importantly Liberators, or I guess for Kelazhur it's Banshees taking the place of Liberators this game. But also, let's not forget Thors are a thing. And Hero Marine versus Serral was a really great example. This, again, just self-promotion. It's a VOD here on the channel. It's from WCS. It was pretty exclusive. You got to check it out if you didn't see it. But Thors on attack swap work very well against Zerg who are ill-prepared for it. But Kelazhur's not thinking of any of these big swaps right now. He's just kind of focusing in the middle of the map. Hellions and Cyclones. 5 Hellions, 5 Cyclones. It's a beautiful thing to see. It's beautiful. I love it. So expensive, though. He's sitting on about 85 workers, same to that of Elazer's. Well, that's going to change as he gets a really nice blue flame run by, but ultimately, the small amount of workers lost just get remade pretty quickly. That's the hard thing about general Zerg players, is touching their economy with this composition, especially if they're prepared for it. It gets worse when it's a player like Elazer who's very skilled and very used to dealing with stuff like this. And I'm singing him high praises, even though the last time we saw Elazer, he did lose his match. But I got so much respect for him over the years watching him play. Elazer could lose 100 games in a row, and I'd still think he's like a really terrific Zerg player. Even though at that point, I think everyone would just call him crazy. But no weapon upgrades necessary. Blue Flame and the Magfield Accelerator are your upgrades for the damage this game. So everything's been put into armor. It's armor on pretty fragile units though, so you take that with a grain of salt. Hellions go for another run by down here. Banshee gets assimilated. Oh, poor Sweet Irony has to kill his own Banshee. That was an interesting move, by the way, because that was focused down. If you guys are unaware of this interaction, because it's quite silly, you will never auto-attack a... Oh, nice fungal growth! You'll never auto-attack a unit that's been assimilated. And this is because I think the game wants you to preserve your own units. I'm really not sure about the choice behind it. But the point is, you have to actually target fire down the Infestor if you want to free it out. Otherwise, kill it yourself by targeting it. So it was a tough decision for Kelazhur to make, but he did make it. I want to make that clear. 4 starports are coming down as a follow-up. Ooh, he's going to break these rocks real quick to escape the wrath of this army. That was pretty clever. I love the barracks being used for scouting here, too. Just keeping eyes on what's going on. Brood Infestor from Elazer might just catch this with a fungal. Looking for that nasty setup on the back line, but he's got to be careful because every time he dips in, he's going to get caught by those lock-ons. And oh, they 3-shot Infestors, team. The Cyclone count's on 28 right now, by the way. That's kind of ridiculous. Still, not that cost-effective out of Kelazhur and a very fragile, expensive army, which, again, this bad boy here could absolutely single-handedly screw over given the right positioning. Unfortunately, though, Elazer is bleeding out a lot of his frontline army. More is being made behind this, and that's okay for now, but, I mean, this is tough. His base is being pushed in upon, and while he's got 106 supply, anyone watching right now is like, where is it? Fungal from the backside coming in with that Infestor. That sneaky boy grabs the entire army! So forget what I said, forget about it. Kelazhur's army gets wrecked in the middle of the map. All the Cyclones get caught, and oh my god, the resources lost! It was so even before this battle. Oh, guys, I wish we had army graphs so I could show you just how painful that was. Oh, brother. Now, here's one of the really key things to having killed those Cyclones, right? It takes a lot of the stress off of him for run-bys. Obviously, his army with roaches and ravagers, by the way, can and does work. Quick shout out, by the way, to the haters. Like, realistically, you don't have to do Hydras for this. Swarm host, that's not the only option, and Elazer's really, I think, well demonstrating how to deal with this mid-game. But brings me back to the point of those Corruptors. Now he can much more comfortably go Brood Lords. One of the terrifying things about a Broodlord is that it's countered by a Cyclone with Mag-Filled Accelerator. Less Cyclones means more options in this case, whether it's Broodlords or otherwise. But he did make an overabundance of Corruptors. Now maybe he's expecting Liberators. We've been expecting Liberators for a long time, but still, only just now are they coming into play. Does he have the upgrade for them? Not yet. So he's not going to have that range. But he's on a 5th and a 6th, and additional command centers are down. Oh my god. Let's back that up a sec. 7,000 minerals. You guys want to see a magic trick? You want... Sorry, rewind. I didn't mean to rewind again. You guys want to see a magic trick? Oh wow, this is actually... Okay. Okay, we're caught up, I think. Look, I messed up, and this is where you would edit it out of the video, but I'm real and lazy. Anyways, if you guys want to see a magic trick, watch Elazer make 7,000 minerals and 2,500 gas disappear with the snap of a Thanos finger. Oh my god! Half the resources gone. Oh, 15 Broodlords is so expensive. And 4 Infestors. I mean, the production tab right now might be one of the most expensive ones I've ever seen in StarCraft. But this is what I'm talking about. There's not a lot to counter the Broodlords. And while there's 5 starports and they could start pumping Vikings instead of Liberators, the reality is Kelazhur doesn't have the money for that yet. Given enough time, he would. He's got plenty of bases and mules and SCVs and all these wonderful Terran-y things. But right now, the situation could be a little rough. The Broodlords pushing through the middle of the map have been confirmed with a scan. He knows about this and their positioning. This is key because as he sees the move towards his army, he's got to think about backing away from this. The thing about Cyclones and Hellions is they run away from the army. They don't have to take that fight. So, completely dodging the Broodlords after picking up the hatchery is a nice move. Sacrificing the Hellions over here to the right side. Going to grab some drones with this. Bring that worker kill count up to 26. Ah, not a single SCV dead this game, by the way. But, oh no! Infestors with Fungals, Broodlords at the ready, maybe a couple lock-ons for saving grace, but this army can't escape. I guess the upside is Broodlings are actually not that well upgraded, and the Cyclones do have 4 armor on them. So I think it's like 6 damage for the Broodlings. But the Broodlords themselves smack down hard. That's a 24 damage shot. Then the Broodlings come into play. But these Cyclones have completely drawn the army out of position, for better or for worse, and a push comes down the middle of the field. Liberators set up above the Roaches. Cyclones taking some face value damage. There are a couple of Vikings in play, and oh no! Elazer has no real anti-air means right now. He morphed every single Corruptor into a Broodlord. So, Spore Crawler, Infested Terrans, Fungal Growth, those are his only options for anti-air right now. Kelazhur, as long as he pumps Vikings, should be able to outproduce the anti-air methods that Elazer would have to offer in this situation. Yeah, look, Infested Terrans coming out kind of desperate. Liberators might even work in a pinch here. I mean, Kelazhur's still in a bit of a desperate spot. I don't know that Elazer is really hurting that badly from this, but as we mentioned with the Broodlords, he used up that crazy bank eater in this game. He doesn't have 7 bases and half the map covered in creeps, so maybe a couple of these fights are going poorly and the resources lost don't favor Kelazhur. I would say right now, I still favor Elazer's position in the game, but let's be real. He doesn't have a way to stop this many Vikings. A couple of Infested Terrans, yeah, those can pick off a small amount of Vikings, but these Vikings are also going to be covered by like 7 to 12 Hellions. They're going to just roast up those Infested Terrans like it's nothing. He's pre-splitting too to make sure he doesn't get caught in a giant fungal, parasitic bomb. By the way, no Vipers in play is questionable, but Broodlord's entirely in the top right. He's going to go on the hunt. Oh, he's on the hunt. Elazer has this incredible army, but it's unguarded and super out of position. I mean, the Hellions don't even need to be here. There's no ground support. You can just send the Vikings in. Oh, this is devastating. Elazer's rushing over now with a couple Corruptors, but they're going to get locked on. And with the lock-on, it's going to melt the Corruptors. No anti-air. Nothing reliable here to stop the Vikings. No way to save these Broodlords. Elazer losing his entire army. And, of course, in the bottom left, a little Cyclone going to try and pick up a hatchery because lock-on's pretty good. But the last couple of Broodlords go down. Elazer's got a massive mineral bank, but no gas to work with. So while he's making 12 Corruptors, he can't make those into Broodlords. I don't think he actually has a handle on the game anymore. Infestors are great, and there's a lot of them with energy, but, I mean, he's coming up against Liberators and Blue Flame Hellions, and, of course, plenty of Vikings. Most of the Infestors are dying, and we don't see an Infestor army coming out of this. Those 11 Corruptors are his only hope to clear out the skies, but it's not going to happen. GG's get called. Bravo. Kelazhur takes the victory. And again, very excited to see him play in the upcoming tournament with games like this against players like Elazer. I think we should be in for a treat. But thank you all for watching this video. Again, comment down below if you want to see more of it, or just tell me what you liked about this. Honestly, I love reading your comments. So even though I don't reply to every single one of them, please know I read every single one of them. That being said, off to the spoiler screen, and I'll see you guys next time.